Is it the agent you're hiring? Or is it the brokerage? Or is it both? It's a great question.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
Hello, I'm Ken Dekker.
And I'm Yetta Dekker.
And we're excited to welcome you to another episode of The Inside Track with the Dekker team, where we share tools, techniques, systems, even thoughts that we all need, we all deserve. You, me, everyone. Yeah. And so we want to help you to thrive and live the best life possible in your home.
That is fantastic. And you know, it's a great question. And I think that the brand is important. Or is it? The brand is important as far as it's concerned that it's able to provide the services to the agent and the client that they deserve.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then otherwise, it's really about the agent.
Yeah, I would say it's, well, although this show is about the advantage of the Solid Rock advantage, primarily pick the agent first.
Right. And then select the company that supports the agent. That is still important.
Right.
Second.
And for an agent,
right,
the company is most important.
Well, it's first and paramount because then they get to figure out how they can be supported to support themselves as well as their clients.
Right on.
And I can remember when I was first making a shift after 15 years with the same brokerage, and I was really struggling with the decision because I had been told by my brand at the time that the brand is what was creating my significance in the industry. My ability to serve clients was due to them.
Right. And I had only been with that company for 10 years.
Right.
And I get what I call the 10-year itch. I like to change things up every 10 years. And so it's better for me to change up my business than my spouse, right?
Absolutely. That's a really good choice because we've been together now over 37 years. Well, 40, I guess, together. Married 37. So you don't do the 10-year thing with me.
Right. And it's a less expensive change.
Much less expensive. Change the business. Not so much the industry, but change the business model. And yet when I was sitting there that day, and I don't know if you remember me coming home completely unraveled, really, because I was agonizing, because it was you that was driving, making the shift to own a brokerage rather than work within a brokerage. Mm-hmm. And so I said to my client, who had been receiving our community newsletter for over a decade, whose home we had already sold another home of theirs previously. So they'd had our lawn sign on their lawn and a sold sign on their lawn. Mm-hmm. And now I was meeting with them again to sell yet another property of theirs. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm going to have to get input because I'm afraid.
Yeah. And we were just about to consider the switch, and we needed to tell them because it was going to be a different sign on their lawn by the time the listing came live.
That too. But my internal turmoil, internal turmoil?
Yeah.
I can't even say it. It just freaks me out. Was just the whole idea of, will they care? Because I was probably believing at the time that brand actually had an impact. Mm. And so I asked them and they said, well, why would you ever leave? And the company they actually said was RE/MAX. Why would you ever leave RE/MAX and go to another brand? And in that moment, the light bulb went off because I had never been with a RE/MAX. Their sign on their lawn was not RE/MAX. It was another brand. So even though they'd received the publication, even though they'd seen me many times, even though they'd had a sold sign and a lawn sign, they didn't actually know what company I was with.
No, because all they cared about was working with you.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, the National Association of Realtors did a study of why people worked with a certain company or a certain agent. And 93% of the reasons were all about the agent. And only 7% had anything to do with brand recognition.
Right. So what we're going to learn in this show, in this episode, is why Solid Rock. What's the Solid Rock advantage, because although we're now saying it's only 7% of the decision making for the consumer, for the person buying, selling, or investing, for the agent, it does matter who they have supporting them.
Yeah, 100%. And so one of the reasons we opened Solid Rock was we wanted to do things a little bit differently.
A little?
Well, a lot differently. So we've got, for instance, technology. We're leading edge in our technology. So we have a showing management system that's really cool, allows our people to make appointments quickly. And for our sellers, it's amazing because they can download an app, and on that app, any showing requests will pop up. They can hit yes, no, or suggest another time. That goes directly back to our showing desk, and then they confirm the showing with the buyer's agent. And the beauty with that is we recently sold a house and they had 30 showings in 3 days. And
Can you imagine managing that? Like, can you imagine managing that? Like, I guess if you move out, it's one thing, because then we can just do an auto confirm, and that might be a good suggestion if you're going to have that quantity of showings over a short period of time. And yet they didn't perceive it was going to be that busy.
No, and I didn't either. And so in the old method, which most companies are using, you have to phone
or email
the client. The client has to then reach you, get back to you, and then we get back to the agent. The system's so automated now, it's amazing. And what it also does is I've had clients call me and say, oh, when did I confirm a showing for? I forgot to write it down, or one party doesn't know it.
Right, didn't look at the app.
Whereas with the app, it logs all the showing time, so they can quickly look at it and go, oh yeah, we've got showings between this time and this time today.
So we need to go have some lunch somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the other neat thing with that technology is we, as the agent, get notification immediately as well. So we know as soon as you've either confirmed, unconfirmed, rescheduled a showing, the seller has, we know that.
On our app. Yeah. And also our app automatically asks the showing agent for feedback after the showing occurs. We can then give it to our seller. And it also, if we get an offer, it allows us to automatically, or we change the price on a property, we can automatically send a message to all the agents that have shown it through our system.
Right. So really the point of this is technology. Technology at Solid Rock, we call it leading edge, and really I still would say it's bleeding edge, because you do a little bit of bleeding when you're taking on the newest of the new in a community or in a particular facet, especially around technology. And yet once we get over that little initial 2, 3, 4, 5 day hurdle, then it becomes phenomenal.
Right. It's really the learning curve for the agent more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've created Solid Rock is an ownership model.
Right.
Which really allows our agents to support one another because they're all owners. So no matter who in our company lists a property for sale, all these agents want to help it get sold. And also if someone has a buyer that's looking for a particular property, all of our agents are looking for that buyer because they all have an ownership in the company and they want to see everyone succeed.
Right. So when one does well, all do well.
Exactly. So it's one of the things, WestJet, I think they just went private, or they went public, sorry, they sold to a company or something. But WestJet built their company on the saying that WestJet owners care.
Right.
And, we care. And we're grateful to be your partners in growing wealth together in real estate.
Moving forward with the Dekker team.